What do you want? I'm in the middle of a podcast. Leave me alone.
This guy who really is, I think, a bad guy. Russell, I think you are a bad guy.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what the truth.
I don't want him knowing where I live.
You can hate Russell, but one thing you cannot take from Russell is his ability to play that game.
I ain't finished playing just yet.
Welcome to the Russell Hands Show. First of all, guys, I want to apologize for any background noise. You may hear babies crying. You may hear bottles clashing. You may hear lots of things, even footsteps. I just seen a girl walk across with some heels on, and I started after she walked because you can hear every single thing. What I'm doing is I'm doing this from a hotel because we are displaced because of a little guy called Harvey. Yeah. So we just went through Hurricane Harvey, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about exactly what just happened and how it all went down. So I wanted to let you know where I was at due to people walking, talking, and everything else. I want to apologize about that first. So right off the bat, we've seen the hurricane coming, and us in the South, we get prepared for these type of things. Whether you're in Louisiana, Texas, doesn't really matter. And the crazy thing about all this is when I was on Survivor season 19, I had a little story about me being in Hurricane Katrina, which was true. I was in Hurricane Katrina because all along the Gulf Coast was affected, but I wasn't directly affected. After that was a little hurricane you might not have heard of called Hurricane Rita. A tree actually fell on my house during that hurricane, and it was devastated when we got back. Trees were everywhere, lines were down. They didn't have electricity for a month. So just because I say a story about one hurricane doesn't mean I wasn't affected by hurricanes. I'm from the South, the deep South. So all my life I've been affected by hurricanes. And to be fair, the Hurricane Katrina story that I said in season 19 was a story that happened. It was a true story that happened to one of my best friends. And I asked their permission, the family's permission, before I even told the story. So there's backstories to every story. So you guys, that say that, oh, it's a shame he talks about disasters like that and makes fun of it. Number one, I'm not making fun of it. Number two, I asked their permission if I could use their story, and they said I could. And they were they were hysterical about it. Once I did it, they would laugh every time we'd go hang out and talk about the story. But anyway, now I'm going to tell you a story that's really a true story that's happened with me just now, day before yesterday. It was coming, and when it got here, we heard, and everybody heard, that it was going to rain and rain and rain. Everybody was worried about that. They wasn't much worried around the Houston area. And I live in a little town called Dayton, around the Baytown area. So we knew that we weren't going to be affected that much by the winds, but we knew that we was going to be affected by the rain. And another thing we knew is that Houston would be flooded. Now, they have a river. It's called the Trinity River. That's where I live. And that runs all the way from, I don't know the exact areas it runs, but I do know that the water from Houston and the water from the Port Neches and Port Arthur, Beaumont area, it drains down to the Trinity River, which is around the Baytown and especially the Liberty County area. You can check that out. You can Google it. You'll see Liberty County area has the river running right through it, and it holds all the water from the hurricanes, okay? So that means when everything rains and floods, then when it runs downward into like a little bowl, it comes to our house, basically. And, the rivers that run through trying to drain the Houston area, like Baytown and Liberty and Dayton, Mount Bellevue, those areas are small towns that has their drainage system to be able to take the water that's in Houston. So that's what happens. Just because you don't get a heavy amount of rain in the small towns, if the big towns getting all the rain, that means you're in big trouble too. So anyway, so it started happening, and it was raining and raining. It was the first day, and I was with my kids and made sure everybody was with me. And I was, I was talking to them and said, man, I wish I had a boat. A lot of people need rescue right now. They have millions of people that's displaced, and only a couple of hundred people that's actually trying to save them. Get them away from their homes, elderly people, and children. That's who I was mostly concerned about. So I called my brother, Sean. You might know him from the TV show Flipped Off. If you don't know, I did another show on A&E called Flipped Off, was flipping houses, and I did that show with my brother, Sean Hans. Well, I called Sean, and I'm like, man, could you think you could get a boat? And he's like, man, I'm going to call around, I'm going to ask some people, because we wanted to be directly involved in helping people. And you didn't have to, at this point, you didn't have to call your local sheriff or call any rescue team. At this point, you just drop your boat, you get in the water, and you go help people. It was that bad, or it is that bad. So he's like, man, I'm going to try to find somebody. Well, the next day, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he calls me, and he's like, I got a boat. I'm like, oh, really? Well, he went to Academy, I guess it was Academy, and he bought a skiff with a little trolling engine on it, which is actually perfect, because you're going to have some areas that's 1 foot of water, and then you're going to have some areas that's 6 feet of water or deeper, and to get through roadways and get through little areas, you would need a smaller boat, not with a big old engine, so you can actually get it through there. So he's like, I just bought a boat. I don't know, it cost him $1,400 to $1,600, something like that. And he went out and purchased the boat with his own money to be able to rescue people, solely to rescue people. He's never had a boat in his life, and he's not a fisherman, so he don't go fishing. So I'm like, hell yeah, man, let's go. And he's like, well, I have to come get you. I don't know if I can come get you. And this is the first day one of the rain. It's actually at this point, I don't even know what day it is, because it happened for so long. But it was day one for me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna park my car, because we have to get to each other, and we are between the Trinity River, which is starting to come up, and it comes up over I-10, Interstate 10, that travels all the way from Houston to Beaumont. It travels a long ways, all the way to Florida to wherever. But I'm just saying that this is what the process we had to get across. It was, right between Baytown, Texas, and Dayton, Texas, the Trinity River runs, or something, a lake or something that connects to the Trinity River, and it was overflowing on I-10, and it was about 2 foot at this point, 2 foot of water, when he was coming to me to get me. So he's like, I'm trying to get to you. I was parked right off of I-10. The only place that I could park is this little gas station right off of I-10, waiting for him. And Hannah and Haley, my twin daughters, they wanted to come with me. Bad. Like, the boat wasn't big enough for both of them. They both wanted to help rescue. So I was like, girls, only one of you can go. Well, earlier that day, Haley said her throat was hurting. So it made it a good decision for me, knowing that she was already getting sick. And I was like, listen, this isn't no camping trip. Like, you guys are about to experience some real deal surviving stuff. Like, this is going to be no joke. You have to man up. Like, this is real. You sure you want to do this? Hannah and Haley both wanted to do it. I only picked one. Haley was getting sick, so Hannah came with it. Haley was getting sick, Hannah came with us. So we took off. Me and Hannah went to the little store right off of I-10. Sean came, and he was like, man, you have FaceTime? I said, no, I don't have FaceTime. And he's like, I have it, but I won't get it with you because you don't have an iPhone. So he's like, well, you need to see this. I don't know if I can get to you. I'm like, well, just try. Where do you need me to go? I was getting frustrated because I was like, where do you need me to be? Like, just tell me where you need me to be, and then I'll get there. He's like, I'm on I-10. And it didn't make any sense to me. Because I was like, Sean, if you're on I-10, just keep going. It's a mile down the road. I'm at the gas station right here off I-10. If you're on I-10, just get. He's like, you don't understand. I can't get to you. And I'm like, where are you? You're not on I-10 then. Like, tell me the truth. Tell me where you are. Just tell me where you are. Because I was going to get to him in some back roads. He said, Russell, I'm on I-10. He said, let me get through this. I'll call you. So I was confused because I haven't got out the house yet and I haven't seen anything. So he had the boat in tow. He gets to me and I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, you're about to see. So we go, drive down I-10, and all of a sudden it's totally underwater. You don't even see the barriers. You know, them big 3-foot barriers usually on the sides? You can't even see it on the opposite side of the road. Now, so we can't go westbound. So we, on eastbound traffic, the barriers are completely underwater. You can't see nothing. It looks like a river. So we start eastbound. When we start moving, he's like, I don't know if we're going to make it. We just need to get past this one area, and then we can get to, Houston, where we need to be. So we get past, we start in the traffic. I posted it on my, I think I posted it on my Facebook. It is. It's posted on my Facebook. I'll videotape that actual moment and I'm going to post it again by itself. And I'm a hashtag it. It's part of the podcast. So you people that want to go to my Facebook, just Russell Hance, and check out that video, you can. So we start going across, and then we're nervous and I have Hannah with me, and I'm like, we don't know if we're going to make it across this thing. While we're going across, they have a car floating right there. It starts bobbing up and down like a cork, and it starts floating around, and it's like, man. So we have a bigger truck, and we have the boat on the back. So we just keep on going. Finally, we make it through this time. So we go all the way through, and we head to the bad areas. We picked up Sean's wife, and she starts telling us that we need to stay in this area, Baytown. Baytown's bad. She keeps saying Baytown's real bad. In our backyard, it's bad. I'm like, no, let's go downtown Houston. That's what I was thinking, because that's what the news was saying. So I was like, let's go downtown Houston, drop the boat, and start trying to help people. And Sean's like, yeah, let's go to Houston. So then Maria's like, look. And that's Sean's wife. She breaks out a picture. And she said, this is right behind my house. And she shows a picture, and it's just a rooftop. That's all it is. It's like, it's crazy, man. It's like the movies. So I'm like, Sean, let's stay here and do what we can do, because everybody is going to Houston. Maybe we should just stay here. So we decided to stay in his backyard and drop the boat, and just to see a couple of blocks if anybody needed any help, and then then we would go back to Houston from there. So we dropped the boat, and I can already see Hannah getting a little nervous, because I'm like, Hannah, you need to be aggressive, like when you're grabbing the boat, when you're paddling them, just be aggressive and act like you belong here. That type of thing. So she doesn't belong there, and she probably shouldn't have, but she really wanted to help people. So I decided as her dad that she's capable enough to where she can do something like that. So now we start down the roads, and we end up on we're in the boat with a little trolling motor that's trolls off of a battery. And if you know anything about motors, you know that we're dealing with a weak powered motor, to where if we get any kind of currents, we'd be in some trouble. So we take this little trolling motor and we go down the streets. And I started seeing houses the doors halfway underwater, then a little bit more. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, Sean, let's go to the doors of the house. So we started going to the doors, knocking on each and every door, and seeing if anybody's in there. Because if you have an elderly couple or elderly anybody that they might not be able to get to the door. They might not be able to hear you. So I wanted to physically look in the houses. And it was just during the day. They also have some pictures of me actually doing that as well. So I would get out the boat, and I was all the way up to my neck in water. And we would go and knock on the doors and check for people. So we couldn't find, nobody was around. A lot of rescues already happened. So he's kind of bummed because we really wanted to, that's our goal, to help people. And we were bummed because we may be in the wrong area to do that because we knew that so many people needed to be helped. All of a sudden, they have a lady that starts a bag of stuff. Just a bag of, like a trash bag. Started really coming to us fast. Like extremely fast, like in the current had it, and she's like, "Help with the bag has my father has a heart condition, all his medicines in that bag," and then everybody's like, "Get the bag!" So and then the bag's like separating everywhere, going, and they have a river behind us, so if it goes in the river, it's gone. So Hannah goes one way, Sean goes one way, I go one way. So it's like if we can't rescue somebody physically, we're gonna get this bag. We definitely gonna do something. So we get the bag together, and then it was for an elderly guy. We get all his stuff, his heart medication, and they're not wanting to leave, so we can't make anybody leave. But they had to cross the street. So and she was trying to cross the street on her own, and I was like, Sean, stop her. Because there's no way she's going to make it on her own. I can barely walk across the street. As soon as she does that, that current's going to take her legs out from under her and take her away. So I'm like, stop. So she stopped. I was like, we're going to bring you across. So we go over there. We bring her across to look like her son or something. And then we go ahead and put her there and move on to what we're doing. Then all of a sudden we see a guy, and he's hollering, "What are you doing? What are you?" At somebody else that's a couple of blocks away, and we were like, "Man, you need any help?" And he's like, "Oh, they need to come over here, help me with these animals." He's like, "Well, what do you have? You have animals. We'll help you. Just put them in a boat. We'll bring them over there." So he's like, "All right, cool, man." So he opens his door, and he has 2 foot of water in his door. I immediately see a little cat sitting there soaking wet, but just sitting there calmly. And then I see there's 2 dogs, and there's literally a German Shepherd, the same dog that I said was with me in Hurricane Katrina. And then it looked like a Rottweiler, but he was extremely nice. They were so nervous. And I also have that video posted. The dogs were so nervous. They were whining and crying the whole time. They were, it seemed like they were excited that we were there because he jumped on me and he started licking me in the face, and he was just so excited and just so nervous at the same time. It's almost like he was thanking me for helping him. So we get the dog and the 2 dogs and the cat. He carries the cat. We take the dogs and finally get them in the boat. We start off with the boat, and we have to pet the dog because he's whining and whimpering and crying. And as soon as we get out the boat, they have that one area that the current is really moving fast. It's a street. So one of the dogs, the Rottweiler, jumped out and took off. It was like, "Get him," because we thought the current was going to take him away. And then the guy was like, "Don't worry, he can make it, but he can't." And he pointed to the little. It looked like a mixed German Shepherd. He looked a lot smaller than a normal huge one. Looked like maybe he was a puppy. And so I grabbed the dog, the German Shepherd, and I carry him across. So we get him across, and we have that done. So we go along. Okay, what else we got? Just keep moving. And I'm like, "Sean, it looks like this place is taken care of," because they had some major boats going back and forth. Everybody knew that we were helping because we keep seeing each other. And we're like, "Let's go," because Sean's son is a police officer for the 3rd district or whatever that means. But that's Brandon's brother, and he's a cop. So we're like, "Call your son, find out where we need to be." And then he's like, earlier he said to go to Tidwell, off of Tidwell, that's downtown Houston. And he said, thousands of people are needed to be rescued. So it was like, let's just head to Tidwell, Sean, let's just go. So we're going in the opposite traffic because the other side's full. So we have our blinkers on with the boat. And they have quite a few people doing this, especially with boats and rescue vehicles, because they have to get to the people. So me and Sean's plan was get to the worst possible area, and then we put the boat in, and we get what other people can't get, and we'll rescue them people. So Sean's like, yeah, let's find a bad area. So we call his brother. He would call his son, and his name's Sean Eric Hance. He's a police officer in Houston. So we call him, and he's like, don't come out here. We're like, what? He's like, we're making all the boats get out. Now he's in uniform, in duty, doing his job, where we're actually going to help people. He's like, do not come out here. We're making boats leave the water. It's getting dark. At this point, it was getting dark. And he's like, just don't do it. And then we're like, well, too bad, because we're coming. And he's like, y'all hard-headed, you and Russell. And we're like, look, you can't tell us not to do this, because this is something that we have to do. So rather him telling us not, it's stupid him telling us not to do it, because he knows that we're on a mission, and that's all there is to it. When me and Sean get on that mission, that you're not going to stop us, and that's the bottom line. So we get there. We go anyway, of course. We get there, and we notice a lot of boats are just sitting there because they can't get their boats. They got, let's say they have a deep area, then they have a shallow area, then they have a deep area. So they have to wait for the water to rise because they can't get their boats past the shallow areas. It just rises in the deep areas. And then way in the back of this subdivision that we ended up by finding was very deep. So we was like, Sean, this is perfect. We got this boat because we can actually physically pick the boat up on either side, and we go and walk it and then put it in. And let's say it's shallow, pick it up, put it in a deep area, and we can move it where we want to move it. These other boats can't do nothing. So let's start moving. So we pass all them boats. We literally passing a Popeye's fried chicken in the boat. So we passed the Popeye's fried chicken in the boat, and then they have a field. And the field was shallow, and then deep, and then shallow. So every time it was shallow, we get out, pull the boat, and then, and then get in the deeper water. So it was like, we can get way further than anybody else with this boat. But the engine is weak on the boat we were in. It was like a little plastic engine. So we decided we started doing our thing. We get out there, then we see an area. It's like a higher area of land that a bunch of people were on. Then we see a bunch of airboats they screaming past us because they can go on dry land as well. So so what's happening is everybody that can get back there is they're going to get they're going to get who you can get that's way back in the back subdivision, and they're bringing them to this dry land area, and then the city comes in a bigger boat and picks them up in the dry area and takes them underneath the overpass. That was ultimately the spot we needed to take them, because that's where all the buses and the relief programs, and they had relief people there that were helping. So they had people helping with the actually rescuing them, and they had also heroes that were sitting underneath the overpass with blankets helping once we get them to that point. So, and then they had to wait there until the buses came, and they took them off to a shelter. So what we did was we went back there all the way in the back, and all of a sudden we started seeing people that need, at their houses that need help. So we immediately start loading them up. And then there was always so many people that we couldn't get in the boat, me and Sean. So I would get in the front, and he would get in the back, and we would literally drag them. I had a rope and I was pulling them from the front. Sean was pushing from the back, and we'd take turns. Now, this was so exhausting because you're always in waist deep water, and when you're not, when you get to the point to where it's ankle deep water, it's almost even harder, because when you're at least all the way up to your waist or shoulder area, you're walking one smooth in the water. You're walking in the water, it's smoother. But when your feet are coming out of the water every step, it is exhausting. I felt like I was in a damn Survivor Challenge, but it was a real live Survivor situation. So we start moving the people in the boat. They would fill up the boats every time, like I said. We would bring them all the way, and I'm talking it was at least 1.5 to 2 miles that we had to bring them to the underpass and then go back and get more. Now, remember, we're not using our engine. We're pulling them the whole time. So we pull them. The first time we got about halfway there, and then they had this big military vehicle, and then I looked at them. I guess it looked like distress in my face because I was so exhausted. And he's like, "Hey man, you want us to take them?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you have room." He said, "We can make room." So it was a big military truck. They put the rest that we had in the truck, and we go back and get more. So we head back to get more. And the later it got, the deeper it got, and the less help that everybody had. And now at this time it's dark. We head back out there, and they had this one guy. Now we're pulling the boat. They have this one guy that he was all of 6'9", 6'10". I would say close to 7 foot. I mean, I'm just giving. I don't want to exaggerate any, so that's why I'm like 6'9", 6'10". But the dude looked 7 foot tall, and he was huge. And we were like passing by him, and he said, "Hey man, can you give me a ride to the street?" We were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, dude, can't you walk there? Like, we are here to get elderly women and children. That's what we're here for." I'm like, "No, man, no, we can't. You're gonna have to walk." Like, literally asking people to bring him. So selfish, where he wants to sit. Who would do that in the first place? Who has that kind of character where you're gonna sit in a boat when you're that big of a young man? You're going to sit in a boat while everybody else is suffering. They literally had babies that they were covering up with blankets. And you want us to pick your big ass up in a boat and bring you while they sit there freezing to death, literally. Scared to death. Shaken. That's what we were seeing. We were seeing children shaking. So I was like, hell no. We just kept going. So anyway, this is when we passed all the people that were waiting in line, because I was like, "Sean, I don't want to pick up no younger. I don't care if it's a younger a woman that's healthy, a man. I want people that we need our help right now. Like, we have too much. It takes too much time to get all the way under the overpass for a bunch of teenage kids." And that's literally what some people are doing. And we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to go all the way under the overpass with a young family. Hey, we get it. If you're a young family, hey, we know it's a struggle, but you can make it. Just start walking. We wanted to get people that actually would die if they try to walk. So we go back, and we see these couple. We see several people that's standing there. I have another video of me actually at this point when we're actually talking to one of the it's a younger generation that was staying. They were staying there. It's like, "We're going to stay here. We're not going anywhere." It was like, "Okay, do you know anybody back there that needs your help?" They said, "Man, we don't know. Right now, we think everybody's waiting on the corner to be taken. Right there at that land area to be taken underneath the overpass." So we decide to go over there and choose. And what it is there's a line of people, and almost like a line, the first people go, and then the rest of them walk up, and then the next ones wait for the next boat. But I didn't want to do that, because when I looked at the line, I seen it was about 150 people. That's how bad this one neighborhood was. When I looked at the line, I seen like 5 little bitty babies, not little babies, but like 3 to 4 years old, right when you can barely walk, that stage. Maybe 2, one of them 2, a couple of them 3, 1 4, but they're all little bitty kids, and they was from a Mexican family. And I seen them immediately, and I seen everybody looking at us, and I felt like, man, I feel bad because I'm passing, through the front of the line. I'm going straight to the back of the line, and I'm picking up the people that I know need help the most. So I'm like, hey, and then one of the Mexican guys, he seen me. It was a family of, I'm going to say 8. And there's no way the boat could fit 8. So I didn't know how they would react, but I wanted to get them kids and them older women. So I'm like, hey, you. And I point to him. He's like, oh, okay, oh, yeah. And they didn't speak any English. So, but they sure the hell knew what I was talking about. So they were like, yeah. So we pull up next to them, and they start putting they had 5 kids. They start putting the little kids in. And I believe Sean has video of that as well. So they put the little kids in, and then the women, then the guys stay on the outside, which I respected. They were like, no, we stay. Very broken English, if any at all. So they was going to stay and help us push. So at this time, they were nervous. The kids were nervous. The kids, they were trying to cover them up. They wasn't crying, so it wasn't like they were, saying too much like that. And but you could see how worried the parents were, and how you see the fear in the kids' eyes, and they was covering them up. So I was like, okay, we need to do something, and about the guys can't get in the boat. So they're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get the guys on the outside of the boat. But we didn't have to tell them that. And I like that. They said, no, we push it. But then they were just the motion, And then I was like, okay, let's go. So we get them in there. They were so hyped up. They were moving so fast at this point. Now realize, me and Sean been doing this all day. We are exhausted. So their main number one concern, you could tell the guys, were to get them children to safety and shelter, because they were moving so fast. Me and Sean couldn't keep up with them anymore. Like, we was just let them, Sean, let's get. I can't. Sean, they're going too fast. I can't. And I don't want to slow them down because I know how hyped up they were. And so I went. They had an area you can go up to. There was a dry at this point when I was just exhausted, and I went up that area, and I started walking in a dry spot, just trying to sit there, trying to I ran to the high above them so I could rest a little, and when they got to me, get back in the water. So we did that, and we get back in the water, and you know what the sad part about all this is, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a Republican. I vote Republican, but this situation was really sad for me because I was looking at the little kids. It was heartbreaking looking at the little kids in this boat, their heads down, little bitty kids, soaking wet, nothing, hopeless. And the older people were worried. You can tell they were worried because you knew that they weren't illegal citizens. So you knew that they were worried about being deported. So I was like, man, this is just messed up. I tell you right now, the president should get on the fucking mic right now and say no one will be deported, because they have families that's sitting in the back of some house somewhere and staying there and suffering and maybe dying because they're worried about being deported. That's not right. They shouldn't be worried about that. They should, life and humanity comes first. They should save their self and do not worry about that type of thing. Come to find out that the mayor of Houston said, do not worry about anything. You would not be deported. Save yourself. And we will save you no matter what. I mean, what kind of mess is that? Saying, oh, we're going to save this person because they're a citizen. We're going to save it. Like, what kind of people are we when we start saying that kind of thing? When we literally start saying, well, I'm not going to save this person because they're an illegal immigrant. Like, who are we? That's humanity. We are humans. We are all the same. We all live on one earth together. So save anybody. Save everybody. Everybody. So, you could tell in their eyes that they were worried about that. And I didn't want them to have to worry about that. So I was like, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So as we're pulling them and pushing them, we're passing these vehicles that's completely submerged. And then they get in this one area that it starts taking all of us. Like the whole boat, it starts taking the boat. And at this point, it is up to my shoulders, the water. And I'm taller than them, believe it or not. So it's like they are really struggling. And I'm like, everybody on this side, everybody on this side. You know how I am in challenges, guys. So I start executing it like I'm executing a challenge on Survivor. It's not the same, trust me, but I'm executing the situation. So I'm like, everybody on this side, the opposite of the side of the current one person on that side, like get over here, and they all, because it's taking us. So we get about 4 guys on one side, and then 1 guy on the other side to kind of steer it at the top. So we're basically pushing it as the guy at the top is pulling it, and Sean's in the back pushing it as well. So we finally get past this area and finally get under the overpass. As soon as we get there, then the crew that's sitting there, they come and they get out from underneath the overpass and they run to another rescue crew, run to the babies. They grab the babies immediately, and then the women get them out, and the guys. Well, we needed to get the boat across the water because that was our last time. We was going to go ahead and go home, because our families were home and the water was rising. So, but we needed to get the boat across the dry land because we went back there another way. So we had to literally carry it across under the overpass where everybody was. So we were like, we got to get the boat across. We got to get the boat. So the guys were like, okay, hold on, because I knew that I was like, okay, take care of your business. Go do what you got to do. But when you finish, if you can help us. So they were like, went under the overpass and brought their families there. Then they came back for the boat. So we grabbed the boat. Everybody grabs the boat and take it. Well, first of all, as soon as the women, children, and guys, as soon as they get out, you could tell that the older grandmother, holding the child, looked at me and she's like, oh, thank you, and she grabs my hand with two hands, shaking it, and the guys do that as well. So you could tell how grateful they were. And that right there makes it all worthwhile for me and for Sean too. So we get the boat across and we get on the highway again. And at this point, I'm like, man, I'm so tired. My legs are burning still. Let's see how Hannah and his family come to find out that they opened a dam because the dam was about to break, a levee area. They opened the levee and they started flooding it even more. So at this point, Sean's wife's freaking out. She's calling them like, Sean, the water's about to come in the house. They're about to open the dam again at 2:00 in the morning, and so it's going to get even worse. We got to go. So but before that, we driving there to them while she's freaking on the phone, and we're about to turn in his driveway, and Sean's like, what's going on over there? Like, it's right above his driveway. And I'm like, I was, to tell you the truth, I was like, let's just turn, Sean. Let's I need to check on Hannah and see what's going on. And so we decide, he's like, no, let's go up here. So we move up, and they have a young group of people and they're like, hey guys, can y'all help? We're like, what's going on? We've been helping all morning. We've been here all day. What's going on? They say, well, we have a Facebook group, rescue Facebook team. This is not law enforcement people. This is the citizens, black, white, and Mexican. And I'm not just saying that. This is exactly what we're dealing with. The citizens of this great town coming together. They got a Facebook group together, and then somehow in that Facebook group, they had an elderly couple that Facebooked them and said, we need help. Water is halfway in our homes. We can't get out. It's like, this was bad. Sean looked at me and was like, well, we got a real deal rescue here, because the ones we were doing before was almost managed by the police, and they were there to help the situation, going back and forth, and they're all in line waiting, and we're ready and willing for that real rescue, because that's what we're here for. So we're like, okay, let's do it, man. Like, we turn around, we get back, it's like, hey, y'all know the address? They're like, yeah. Here's the address. Like, hey, y'all want to come with us? We have the truck. 2 of you jump in the back of the truck. You can come with us. So 2 of them jump in the back. We take off. Well, when we get to this area, all we see is the top of the stoplight sign. And this is right when we drive up. The houses are back, like, past that street, their yard, and then the house. But you see a stoplight sign. This is the very top of it. And we see an alligator. So we're like, I'm like, I don't care, man. I don't care. I let that thing come. I will drown that alligator. Well, you can drown an alligator, by the way. I wasn't really sure, but that wasn't going to stop me or scare me from getting to where we needed to get. So we get in the boat. We stroll on over there, and the current is, at this point, behind these houses is an actual lake. These are really nice homes in a really, really nice area, and their homes are right on the water, right? How pretty? Well, it wasn't that pretty this time, but because water was rushing through there, like through the back of their house, through the doorway, rushing through. And then I started getting nervous. I'm like, there's people in here? Like, there's actual people somewhere in here? There was like one of these houses, somebody's in here. And it made me nervous because at this point I had to swim. Like, I couldn't walk anymore. And everybody knows that you can make the funny jokes of me being short. Yes, I'm only 5'6", so we can make them jokes. But yeah, I don't care if you're 6 foot. You couldn't walk in this area. And, so we swim to this area. I'm out the boat. Most of the time I was the only one out the boat, but Sean got in the water a few times. So what we did was, at one area, we tried to go across the street. We were hollering their names. We knew their names. We tried to go across, I say across the street, but across the garage area to where the current was rushing. I would grab a back of Sean, and he would face the current, and we would walk sideways so we can have two bodies going across the currents. So we go across the current, and I'm like, we get to the house, and I'm banging on the door. We don't know the real address, so we have a problem. So we start dumping out the trash, looking for an address, looking for any type of mail where we can see what address, because we knew their address. We just didn't know it was out of 3 houses, and we could see all 3 homes. So we kept trying to find it. We couldn't find the stupid address. It was getting frustrating. I'm like, forget it. I'm going straight to the door. I'm banging. When I say, hey, I don't get impressed much, but when I'm looking in this house, I'm like, this is a nice house. Besides, what's going on? I mean, the big old house on the water, I'm banging on it, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to break this window. Yeah, I don't know where these people are. So I'm banging and banging and banging, and we're hollering their name. All of a sudden, I see something move, and I can barely see it because I can't see. It's like when you look in the door and you're looking in the corner of the door, you can see an object, but I couldn't even quite make it out. It was dark, electricity was out, and then finally I get to an area where I can see him. It was an elderly couple with a dog, there's the doggy out, sitting on a table. So I'm like, it's a different type of mode that you get yourself in. It's like being on Survivor. And I know I'm comparing the two a lot because this is what I felt like I was in, but it was like the real thing. It's your heart starts pumping. You start getting extremely nervous and excited. You start, you worry for them. So I get to this point. So now I'm like, well, we got to. We have no choice. We got to get them out. We got to get them out. The doors are locked. Big old wooden doors. I can't break them. Because I guess I could have started breaking through windows, but the water is rushing to me. So if I'm breaking windows, the water rushing to me, and we discussed all this, and then all of a sudden I try to climb through a broken glass window with water rushing current outward, and I'm fighting it to get inward. I'm getting cut all up, if not seriously harmed. So it's like, we got to get in there. So, I can't get the door. I'm like, why they lock the door? Why is everybody locking the doors? Because if some thief, and they had them too, they're going to get in your house regardless. But I'm like, we need to get in there and get these people. So at that exact point, we seen a light and a bunch of people hollering on the other side of where we started off at, where we seen that stop sign. So I'm like, Sean, this boat cannot. The boat was going backwards when it's supposed to be going forwards. The boat couldn't make it. We were full throttle. That's basically going forward, going backward. So it wasn't working, and we had to get in there. So it was frustrating. Talk about when you see people like, and you say if you're tough, and you think you're tough, and you think, hey, those people need safe, or to get to safety, they need to be saved no matter what. I'm going to get to them. Well, it's not always like that, because I am that guy. I'm that guy that's going to get to them. I'm going to save you, whether my life is on the line or not. But we just could not do it. It couldn't. I don't know how else to explain it. We could not physically weren't able to get to them. I tried to do it without the boat. I tried to do it with the boat. Because we had to go in the back area. We was going to try to go in the back door or go somewhere, but the garage was there, and when you walked through the garage, the water was running through that area, so we couldn't get there that way. Couldn't go through the windows in the front. Couldn't get through the door in the front, and then the current was taking us. So we seen people hollering. I said, I'm going to see you without it, Sean. They can help us. They have a bigger boat, so I started walking over there, and he's like, hold on, wait for the boat at least wait, at least we have paddles, we can paddle forward, and the current was taking us that way, so we started paddling to find out who that was in the street, and I was behind the boat, or in front of the boat, and the current took me, and when it took me, it swept me off my feet, so now my feet are not on the ground, and I'm flying away. Like, I'm literally going wherever it takes me. Sean sees immediately, he's like, Russell! And he throws a paddle out there to me. And then I grab the end of the paddle, and then he pulls me in. So now we know this is like life-threatening for us too. You don't really realize it till you get yourself in a bind. So I'm like, let's get to the top where we can regroup and come get these people. Get another boat, and we weren't going anywhere. It was like a nobody left behind. I promise you. There's one thing I can promise you. I would have sat there all night long until those people were saved. So I was like, okay. All of a sudden, when we get to the dry area and past that stop sign, we all get up there. Everybody's a little freaked out. All of a sudden, the cops pull up and with the big boat. We're like, thank God. Like, guys, they got people in that house right now. You got to get to them. Not 5 minutes after we got out. They got in. They went straight over there, and they saved them. So it was the community, and it was that Facebook group that alerted everybody. It wasn't them. They can't call the cops. Somehow you can't call 911. You can't message the cops because they got millions of things going on. Millions, people. This is the third to biggest, or fourth. What is LA? Yeah, fourth to biggest state in the union. So there's a lot of people, that's devastated right now. And you have this group of kids, basically, they're all in their 20s, look like, formed a Facebook group to get together, all different kind of religions, all different kind of races, right there together, holding hands, literally, trying to build a bridge to get to someone to bring them to safety. So we can come together, guys. Democrats, Republicans, white, black, Catholic, Christian, Jewish, doesn't matter. And that's what we did. We came together and we rescued people, and that's what it's all about. So we get back in the vehicle now. We have to go back home. And I'm literally telling you the whole story of the whole day, the crazy day, going into the next day, actually. Because once we get back home, Hannah's there, a little freaked out. She's like, "Where you been?" I'm like, "Hannah, I'm glad you stayed on this," because when we went back the first time, Hannah decided to stay, which was a great thing because it was rough. She couldn't have handled this second go around, and because I really didn't know how bad that it was going to be that bad myself. So what we did was, Sean, everybody's like, "Let's go." They opened the dam at 2. Water's already coming right at the door in Sean's house. It was like they're about to open the dam at 2. This is about to get bad right here. Because right in his backyard, the houses were under water. But Sean lived in a house that was above the land. Like it was I guarantee it's the highest house in that square mile area. So Sean's like, "Let's go." So we was all leaving. There was 2 kids, Maria. Now Sean Eric was there. He's the police officer. Sean, me, Hannah, in this little truck with all their stuff. Not a little truck, but just a good-sized truck with all the stuff in the boat on the back. That's all the vehicle that could make it out. Maybe make it out. I heard they had a hell of a time making it out, too. But making it to safety, to where the truck almost floated away. But that's the story he'd have to tell. Because me and Hannah decides to stay. So I decided, "Hannah, let's stay." We have a generator. I have a generator. We have all the water. They already had water ready. We have food. We have everything. Worst case scenario. I had an axe. I mean, I was thinking the Katrina story. Like for real. I was like, "Look, I have an axe. If we have to go up to the attic, I will get out." Like seriously, this all was happening, just like my story. And so I'm like, okay, what we need to do is just get everything ready, get the extension cords, and I'm gonna get the extension cords, and I'm gonna get bring it up there to the second story. It's a 2 stories, so everything is fine. We was going to sit up there and wait it out. So we decided to sit. I had a gun because I heard people were, and you might have seen my Facebook, my tweet. I heard people were stealing. People were starting to steal from people, and I'm like, if they steal, I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill you. I'm not one of the guys that say, "Hey, just wait. I can't wait till somebody comes in here. I'm gonna kill them." No, I don't want to do that. So I posted, "Don't make me kill you." Because if you start stealing from the neighbors around here or this house, you're going to die. So I posted on Twitter, "Please don't make me kill you." Because it was a serious thing at that time going on, people breaking in people's houses. And Sean Eric left a badge, one of his badges as a police officer, sitting on the table. So what I did was I put the badge, this is when we went to sleep, I put the badge by the door, to show them if they would try to break in there, this is a police officer's house, and we have a gun. In other words, if you see a badge sitting there on a table and you're robbing a place, you might think twice about that. And I had my daughter with me, so that was my main concern. So we decided to stay. And Hannah's like, "We can do this, Hannah. We can stay." electricity goes off, I had buckets and buckets of gasoline. So I set up the generator on blocks as high as I could possibly get it. People, never run your generator in your house. Never. You will die. Okay? Google how many people have died by running generators in house. I don't have to Google it to know if you would die from carbon dioxide poisoning. You would die. So I don't care if you put it in another room. It's going to get through the vents to your room. You would die. So don't do it. So I knew that I wasn't going to bring it in the house. Wasn't going to bring it upstairs in another room. Just wasn't going to happen. So I tried to get it as high as I possibly could get it, and then it was going to run an extension cord. And I knew if water got to it at that point, as high as this house was already, then we would be in some major trouble. So what I did was I got a bunch of lights, because everybody knows I'm in the oil field business. I was in the oil field business, and I have a bunch of they're called barge lights, and they blink real bright in there. Some of them are red, some of them are white. So I got a bunch of barge lights, got the batteries in it that blink red. I mean, real extreme red. And so we did that. I got the lights, got everything together. Then she was a little nervous, but I'm like, let's just relax a little bit. She watches Pretty Little Liars, so she turned on Pretty Little Liars while I'm cooking gumbo at this point. So I started cooking some gumbo for us, everything, putting all the meat in it. So Sean needs to buy more groceries. So we putting all the meat in the gumbo because I want to have it. If we run out of electricity, I have the generator, we have the microwave, we'll be fine. The little refrigerator, plug that up to the generator, we'll be fine. So, but the water wasn't in the house. So we go to sleep and wake up the next day. Well, we knew that the water was coming at 2. I stayed up to about 3. I knew the dam was going to be open at 2. I stayed up till 3, looking around, waiting for it, and nothing happened. Well, we get up the next day, and there's about a foot of water in the house. Now, this is when you start freaking out a little bit. When you start saying, okay, this is for real. Because if it comes up another couple of inches, then we get into, and the electricity's still on. That's what started worrying me. Because now I'm a contractor. And as a contractor, if you're touching a refrigerator, or let's say you walking in the water, and then the refrigerator goes crazy, and it's still plugged in. Everything's plugged in. So I'm looking for breakers. I start turning off breakers where they need to be turned off, and I'm like, if you see anything plugged in, unplug it. She's like, I've already done that, because she got up before me. She's like, I was unplugging everything. I was putting everything up on the, anything on the ground, like the computer base, putting it on the desk and all this stuff. So we sit there in about a foot of water. All of a sudden, it starts going down. So it starts moving down, and eventually it gets to where it's out the house. And they got puddles here and there in the house, and it's still devastated outside. Just because it's out our house don't mean nothing, because for it to come in the house to begin with was crazy. We thought it would never get into the house. So finally it got out the house, water receded. Melanie, my ex-wife, she was freaking out. She was so nervous. I was like, calm down, I have her. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous. I'm shaking. I'm like, she's with me. She's going to be fine. I said, Melanie, I'm thinking so far ahead right now. Like, my brain was working in overdrive. Like, I am at the stage of me and Hannah sitting on the roof for days. Like, I'm at that stage in my mind where we'd be okay. Because I had a tarp. Believe that. I had a tarp and everything, waiting and ready for me and Hannah, worst case scenario. But anyway, man, that's my story. And you guys, if you want to donate to the Hurricane Fund, we have started a GoFundMe page, Russell Hance GoFundMe page. It is, I'm sure you can find it posted on my link, on my Instagram link. I'm going to put it on my Facebook link. Let me tell you what this is. This is a GoFundMe page for the hurricane relief. It's not a scam. This is for the people. This is what I want to do. I'm trying to raise $50,000. I want to go to the less fortunate without insurance. I want to go in there, and like I said earlier, I have a contracting company. I want to go in there. I want to get the materials bought, and I want to do some of the homes with this money. With $40,000, I want to do. I probably could get a good 4 or 5 homes done, but that's not all. What I also want to do is raise another $40,000 of that is for the people itself. $10,000 is for the charity event that I want to get together and do it in Houston if we can. Houston, if we can't, Destin, but if we could get in Houston, that would be just great. We're at a hotel right now. I'm going to talk to management over there and see if we could do it here. But what we're going to do is we're going to invite 25 to 30 reality stars, some of my friends, some of the best of the best. Maybe even Rachel from The Bachelor. She's from Dallas. I can't see how she wouldn't want to help raise money. So I want to take that $10,000 and I want to start that reality fund to raise another portion of monies to help the less fortunate. I'm talking about the ones with no insurance, that's really struggling right now. And they have millions of them, people. This is not a scam. If you want to help me do this, you can help me do it. Go to, it's a GoFundMe page, the Russell Hantz GoFundMe page. Carol, how can they, if they wanted to Google it, can they Google it?
You can Google it.
You can just Google Russell Go, and it would be up. Mm-hmm. If you can't find it, like I said, go to my Instagram. I'm a tag it on my Facebook. I'm a tag it on my Twitter, so you can find it. If you can't find it, message me, and I will get you to it. But like I said, guys, it would be a big help for lots of people. If you want to help, if you're one of the ones that would jump in that water with me, then come with me and help me help these people. Like I said, I know GoFundMe pages are a little shady, to some people, but the only way for me to do this, because I don't have a tax ID number for a charity. I don't have a named charity. I'm also going to start a named charity with a tax ID number, so we can do it that way, more professional way. But this is all I have right now. So this is the best way. I've talked about it with our producer, Mike. We went over it with Carol, and this is our best way to do it at this point, to try to raise the money this way, to get that organization that we want to start for things like this constantly. I've been wanting a charity event, to where we can help people. I've been wanting different, organizations where we can help different aspects of all different aspects of life. I've wanted a charity on baby wipes and diapers for a long time, because even the hurricane funds, even FEMA, they don't pay for diapers. Can you believe that? You can't get diapers with food stamps. You can't get diapers with, but that's another whole story. But I want different organizations to help different types of people. And right now, the people of Houston and the surrounding areas, and probably in Louisiana some, they need help. So guys, go to the FundMe page. If you help, it would be greatly appreciated. We're going to post all the names that's helped. I'm going to do a podcast on that. And, it means a lot, guys. So it's real. This is a real thing here. This isn't me trying to get, I have money. I'm not trying to get money. I'm trying to help the people. I'm doing what I can do. You do what you can do. And that's it, guys. I appreciate you listening. This was a crazy thing. There's a lot of healing going on right now, and a lot of people are here at this hotel. Looks like tons of people are still piling in, and we're going to tons of people still piling in. That reminds us we need to make sure we got our nights together. And I appreciate you listening, and that's all. And this is the Russell Hantz Show, and everything we do from the Russell Hantz Show and my team is helping people. And this isn't just a podcast. This is a team. And if you want to be part of it, then let us know. We sure appreciate you guys listening, and you guys have a good night.